Hello, princesses. Welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Today I have a fun video about makeup application rules. I'd like to turn them into useful tips, but so many of us think of them as hard, fast rules. You know, the don't, always, never rules that we learned when we were starting to wear makeup from our grandmas and our aunts and our moms. Now, being a mom myself, I would like to say that mothers are never wrong. But sometimes our adherence to these rules doesn't need to happen. And I'd like to see us use them more as tips. Let me talk about what inspired this video. As you know, I read all of your comments and I love them, but I get some interesting ones generally about rules. If I put a bronzer on my forehead, horror, bronzer only goes here, never, ever, always, always, blah, blah, blah. If I use a makeup brush for a shimmer, never, ever, ever, always use your fingers, blah, 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 pop shades, always, never, blah. And by the same token, the opposite is also true. When I formulaically follow what a makeup artist has instructed, I'm also hollered at. Makeup is self-expression. You don't need to follow rules. And I'm not upset by these comments. I love everybody's perspective. Absolutely love it. I'm not teasing or poking fun at or anything. What I find interesting is the dichotomy there. We seem to be so obsessed with either following or not following rules. So I thought today we would talk about some of the most popular rules out there. Some of them developed for a reason. Sometimes there are rules for applying makeup because they're correct, really. And sometimes they're just outdated. So let's dive into a few. And then down below in the comments, add some of the ones that you think I forgot. Some of those that you were told by your mother, things that you dare not ever stray from, and others that you find yourself breaking regularly. I would love a dialogue down below with you guys. Okay, so let's start first with brush use. You know, there was a time when we all used our hand and Q-tips to put on eyeshadow. Raise your hand if you remember doing it. And now, of course, we are in the age of the synthetic and the natural haired beautiful brushes. And so the brushes come with the rules, right? Well, not always. I'm going to go to a video of me putting on my Pat McGrath foundation. And as you notice, I am doing that with my hands. It's kind of funny to me because Pat McGrath does sell a foundation brush, but the makeup artist herself advises just put it on with your hands. And why not? It doesn't have to be Pat McGrath foundation that you put on with your hands. It can be any foundation. And I like to put it on. Sometimes I use a brush, sometimes I use a sponge, and other times I just smooth it on with my hands. You know, Lisa Eldridge, we all know who she is, right? Super famous makeup artist and the inventor of the most divine lipsticks on earth. Lisa Eldridge actually said in one of her videos that she doesn't even look at what the brush is for. She simply grabs it as a tool and uses it if it works. Let's take it, for example, something none of us will ever find anymore. Do you remember Prescriptives, the old makeup line? This is a Prescriptives concealer brush that I have had since before the advent of time. I think the Smithsonian is asking for it, but I said no. This little concealer brush I do not use for concealer. You know what I use this baby for? When I dip it into a really light color, and I put it here, it does perfectly the kind of a light shade in the corner of the eye, and boy does it do the under the brow arch. It highlights the brow arch really well. So as Lisa Eldridge says, as Pat McGrath says, use your hands. As Lisa Eldridge says, grab a brush and use it for whatever you want to. Don't frantically read the side. If I read the side of this, I would only be using it for concealer. This is one of my favorite rush in to grab it into the fire brushes, and I never use it for concealer. So those kind of rules don't have to be followed. Why is this called a concealer brush? Because ideally, that's a suggestion, not a rule. So we have to remember that some of these rules that develop they're just tips, really. Okay, let's talk about that shimmer shadow that I was talking about earlier. The makeup on my eyes today is the Dazzling Diamonds All Pop palette from Charlotte Tilbury. Here it is right here. You are familiar with it. This is a recent release. And I'm going to show you a video of me putting it on. And you'll see that I start with a light shade all over the lid. Then I go in with the darker shimmer shades into the crease. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is breaking a rule. I have hooded eyes. Now the general rule of thumb is that light reflects right from the eyes. So if you have a light or sparkling color in the crease, it brings it forward. And if you have a dark or matte color in the crease, it brings it back. This is a truth. If you want to de-emphasize hooded eyes, you will use a matte, darker transition in the crease. This is simply a truth. It's not a rule. But what I do when I wear all shimmers is I just make sure that I put the darker shimmer into the crease. It is a look that is still really pretty. I like my eye look today, and I can still wear it. Is it perhaps emphasizing the hoodedness of my eyes more than other looks I've done? That's probably possible. I mean, this is just the way light reflects and works. It's not a rule, but it's certainly a good guide. So what I say is if you'd like to skip that rule and wear all shimmer, even with a hooded eye, just go for the darker shimmers in the crease, like I did today. And you can take that rule and work around it. It's funny because it's this very palette where I got scolded for using a brush. Charlotte Tilbury does encourage you to use your finger to apply her pop shades. Same with Pat McGrath, same with Natasha Denona, Huda, any of those. Does that mean you can't use a brush? No, go ahead and use a brush. Just know that if you use a brush with shimmer, you'll get some fallout. So you could either brush it away, you could do your foundation second. Again, not a rule, a tip. I used a brush today on this and a little bit of fallout came. Some of it I left because I don't care, and some of it I brushed away. But is it, oh my gosh, never, ever? No, like I've said in some of my other videos, the police are not going to come for you. I promise. Let's talk about applying blush. Blush is an interesting thing. And when we have here rules for applying blush, I don't know about you, but the rule I always heard was smile. That way, you find the apples of your cheeks. Smile when you put on blush. How many of you have heard that? And then I was massively confused because about a decade later I heard, whatever you do, do not smile when you put on blush. Okay, just a sound reasoning. They say smile so you can find the apples of your cheeks, but they say don't smile because you put it on here, then you stop smiling and your blush is down here. Good points on both. And then I heard a really, really lovely, compromise, which was from Patrick Ta, and he says smile, but just close your mouth. So let me show you what I mean. Here's his blush, and She's So LA. And what I'm going to do is smile with a closed mouth. That is my compromise. And once I find my little spot, I still put on too much. Once I find my little spot, then I can chat along with you guys. So again, here is my Sonia G Cheek Pro. Find my spot. And then I can chat. Oops, I have a little bit of mascara there. You guys didn't tell me that. Okay, so. And I still put on a lot. I kind of like it though. I think it actually kind of works. So should you smile when you put on your blush? Should you not smile? Should you frown? Always frown when you put, no. I don't know. Really, you have to experiment. Don't be afraid. The rules are actually kind of nice. It's like when we see a new Natasha Denona or Scott Barnes eye palette and we watch a tutorial. Those are great for when we kind of don't know what we're doing and we need some guidance. But please don't think that they're rules. And by the same token, don't go all crazy and say, I'm a rebel, I'm not going to follow the rules. You might end up looking silly. And the point of makeup is to look pretty. But I just worry about the words always and never. And I want you to feel a little bit of freedom of expression when you put on makeup. What works for me with blush is to smile with a closed mouth. It's hard for me to do because I'm a talker. Okay, let's talk about bronzer application. This one cracked me up. So there's bronzer and there's contour, right? I'm not a big contourer. Contour, of course, would come from here to here and makes it look like you have better cheekbones, and I suppose I should contour. I never really bother. I do bronze, though. And boy, I had somebody get so upset with me. They said they were cringing at the way I put on my bronzer. Why? Why not? Bronzing is to bronze up and give a sun-kissed look to the skin. Can you do it under your chin? Sure. Can you bronze up top here? By your hairline? Sure. Is there a rule that bronzer can only go here and never below it? I have heard that rule too. I think that's a little silly. Again, if it's a guide for contouring, sure. But don't cringe, guys. Don't go with never. Don't go with always. Don't go with, you can definitely bronze up over your nose, anywhere that you want to look like you had a little bit of sun. How about shimmer on the face? Shimmer on the face is an interesting one. Everyone says if you do shimmer all over your face, your pores will show. Okay, that's not a rule. That might just be a fact. Shimmer emphasizes texture. If you don't care, if you earned your texture, then go ahead and put it on all over. I applied this Dior Rose Gold palette all over my face today. And I'm going to look in the mirror and I bet you, sure, some of my pores are more apparent here. That comes with the territory. It is known that if you put shimmer all over your face, you will see pores. If you are not a pore emphasizer, then don't put shimmer all over your face. If you do, just know you might find some pores that you never knew you had, but you'll still look beautiful. It's not a rule. It's just a guideline. Application order. Always put your eye makeup on here. Always do your blush after this. Always put your lipstick on last. Never blah, blah, blah. There, again, we run into a lot of tips and rules. Charlotte Tilbury actually puts blush on last. Did you know that? When she makes up a famous person's face, she puts the blush on last because she wants to see everything that she's done and she wants to decide how much blush is needed. I grew up putting on my lipstick last, deciding what color to do based on the way the rest of my face looks. Is there a hard, fast rule for this? Some say there is. I say, do what makes you happy, princesses. My goodness. Okay. I'm breaking a few rules today. One of them being shimmer all over the face. The other being a bold eye paired with a bold lip. I did this on purpose today. This used to be considered a makeup no-no. They say if you have a bold, smoky, dark eye, you do a nude lip. And if you have a bright lip or a dark lip, then you should just do liner and mascara. Something light. So what I have done today is pair this very dark, smoky eye with a very bright lip. The Charlotte Tilbury new Super Starlet lip, which is pretty much a red cranberry with a bold eye. I also have some examples here. Look at the lovely Viola Davis and her bold eye and bold lip. Lily Collins, Gwen Stefani. And you know, Viola Davis and Gwen Stefani are in their 50s. Another no-no, never, ever, ever. A misogynistic industry likes to show mature women their place. Go to the corner, mature woman. Don't wear shimmer, mature woman. You might look pretty. So we have examples there of Viola Davis and Gwen Stefani looking absolutely gorgeous, rocking shimmer, rocking a bold eye with a bold lip. So why did this rule come into play? They say the bold eye and bold lip, again, is a guideline. It can be true that it can come off like a clown if you're not careful. And if you are timid and are unsure, a bold eye with a pale lip will always look nice. And a bold lip with just kind of mascara will always look nice. So they're great rules of thumb, but they're not hard, fast rules. As you see today, I like my makeup look, and I definitely went bold with each. Let's talk about eyelash curlers. Here's one that I follow. Curl your eyelashes before you put on your mascara and never the other way around. This one I'm kind of going to agree with. Do you know why? Safety. When you get mascara on your eyelashes, they just get a little bit sticky. And if you curl them afterwards, you could pull them out. So that is not a hard, fast rule, but it's one that I kind of like to follow. I think that one has some merit to it. How about concealers and powders? You have, I'm sure, heard lighter concealer and lighter powder under the eyes, skin color on the rest of the face. This is not a rule, this is a preference. I have here 2 shades of Pat McGrath concealer. I am in her foundation, which I'm wearing today, the light medium 11, and here I have a light medium 11 concealer and a light medium 8 concealer. The idea being that the 8 goes under the eyes and the rest goes all over my face. Yeah, I mean, it is nice to have a bright eye. Today, I actually used the 11 all over. I think it is a little bit more, some of these are trend driven, and it is a little bit more of a contemporary look to actually go with one color concealer. If you like a brighter eye and you like to go a little bit lighter under the eye than the rest of the face, go for it. Again, not a rule, more of a preference. You know, one that I'm not covering at all is the lipstick rule. When I was a kid, my mother used to never put on her lipstick out of the bullet. She used to only put it on with a brush. If you put it on a bullet, it would actually shock people. I'm not going over that one. I think that one's gone. We all put it on from the bullet now. Kind of like pantyhose. You know, everyone used to wear nylons all the time, and now people really don't. So some of these actually kind of fade away. Some of them stick with us. You should see some of, like I said, some of my comments. People are married to these rules. So what do you guys think? What rules do you stick by? What rules do you throw away? We see a lot of these videos too. Wayne Goss does the don't do your highlighter like a YouTuber and that kind of thing. And I get what he's going for. But I worry PRINTcesses about adhering to the rules and adhering to stay away from the rules. Some of these rules make some sense. If you put shimmer all over your face, your pores are going to show more. I mean, you know, some of them make some sense. But others of them, understand them and then move away from them with grace. Let me know what you think below. I would love to hear some of the rules you think I missed here. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I hope you did. And if you haven't already done so, the nicest compliment you can pay is to subscribe to my channel. We've got a lot of good new releases still coming up this week even. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.